Good evening. It's November 26th, Wednesday, November 26th, 2025. I'm Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario. Hopefully, everybody's having a nice night. So, the big thing on X, not much going on for me. Just watching the news, seeing if they're gonna. We were talking about Ukraine last time on the weekend, all the talk about a peace agreement with the Ukraine war. Still looking at that. But another thing happened that's really kind of dominating my feed is, of course, Indians again. I try. It was nice not talking about them instead of just talking about the Ukraine war for a couple of days. But now we're back to the Indians. And also like the conservatives and how they dealing with this whole problem, fake conservatives and real conservatives and nationalists and all this. So basically, there was a Second Sons rally in London where they dropped a banner over an overpass saying "Remigration now," and it kind of the shock value worked because you had the news covering it and it was pretty good. I thought it was good. And right away, whenever they do stuff, you get these conservative, so-called conservatives, condemning them, like, and using all their energy in the world to condemn Second Sons. They say, "Oh, they're Nazis," or they cover their face and they're hurting Canada. They condemn groups like Second Sons and even Dominion Society more than they do the Antifa people, like the people actually destroying the country, like our traitor leaders and letting in millions of Indians and other third world migrants and all the LGBTQ and DEI, all that CRT stuff they're pumping into schools. You know, like we got way bigger fish to fry. Or so if you care about Canada, if you're Canada first, you have way bigger fish to fry than going after Second Sons or Dominion Society or nationalist groups in general. But guys like, we know who we're talking about. Clyde Do Nothing, and Wyatt Gay Pool, and Zachary Tisdale, and probably Mark Slapinski's in the mix too. I blocked him because I couldn't stand his retarded posts. But they lose their minds over Second Sons. Meanwhile, Second Sons didn't do anything. They didn't do anything illegal. They're Canadians. They're concerned about the country, and they're doing what they think is the right thing, the right path. You don't have to agree with their methods, but they're not beating anybody up. They're not burning down cities like the BLM people. They're not attacking people in public in front of police like the Antifa people. But they're not threatening to kill Indian diplomats like the Khalistani people. You know, I don't understand the hysteria. If you're Canada first. But these guys aren't Canada first. They have no problem. Clyde, Wyatt, all of them, they have no problem filling this country with Indians and, destroying the Canadian nation as we know it. They have no problem with it because they're cowards, they're weak, pathetic people. And they spend most of their time attacking people that care about Canada. They're attacking these people, like saying they're feds because they wear masks. It's like the leaders don't wear masks, okay? And the reason they wear masks is two words. Charlie Kirk literally got assassinated because people were calling him a fascist, a Nazi, and somebody assassinated him. So he had a pretty good security team. He had millions of dollars, and he still got killed. So these guys, this average Joe guys that are joining the Second Sons, why would, they have to protect their families and their friends and their livelihoods. And like, I don't even understand how you don't understand that, like that concept of them wearing the masks. Like, you have this crazy Antifa people. They're crazy. Why would you want them to know who you are? The cops aren't going to do anything to them. You look at what happened. And then that Zachary Tisdale guy, he was praising the Puck Daddy rally in Toronto, saying, no, they didn't wear masks there. They got run out of there. They got run out of that park. Like bunch of little, like, pussies, I guess. They weren't organized, they weren't ready, and they got run out of there. But according to Zachary Tisdale, that's the way to go. Yes. So anyway, yeah, I hate the hysteria over it. I get really annoyed, and then they start calling us woke right bullshit. It's like, you don't want your country to turn into a third world shithole. You don't slavishly support Israel killing babies and children, so you're woke right. Like Wyatt Gaypool likes to throw that term out. His fat buddy James Lindsay gave it to him. And anyway, there's a lot of these conservatives in Canada that are fake conservative influencers that they don't care about Canada. They don't. They're all talk. They're cowards. And it's disgusting, really. Like, they're the weak. And that Zachary Tisdale, he wanted to become the 51st state when Donald Trump was saying about Canada. He was ready to give it up. He was ready to bend over. He would have collaborated. If someone invades Canada, these guys will be the first collaborators. Like in every country gets invaded, there's always the collaborators. So Clyde, for sure. Tisdale, for sure. And Wyatt, for sure. It's like he'd ask for a job. So that's why, and I think we'll start with this. And this is the response from Second Sons to Zachary Tisdale, who's calling them feds. And I think he hits it right in the nail on the head. He said, the reason men like Zachary Tisdale and Clyde do nothing, believe that it is impossible for organizations like ours to exist without a government agency orchestrating it, is because it is impossible, at least for men like them, it is impossible. They are literally incapable of organizing men because they aren't men. Men like them are only capable of organizing their next Twitter post or YouTube commentary. Yeah. This Zachary Tisdale was saying, look, there's a nice try, feds. I just can't stand that guy. But he was saying, well, we're the 51st state. Like, he literally gave up the country without even a fight, if it was up to him. And he's going to criticize these guys? Personally, London's a shithole. It used to be nice, but it's a shithole now. So it could use some remigration. So, yeah. I mean, we got to deal with these guys, but it's bad enough you got to get Rachel Gilmore and her ilk, the anti-hate people, government-funded anti-hate groups, and that anti-hate commissioner they have. It's bad enough you got to deal with them. It's bad enough you got to deal with the corrupt media, but you got to worry about these fake conservatives who praise Pierre, of course. You got to worry about them. Meanwhile, in Canada, you got these Calistanis holding rallies and shooting off guns, threatening to, they've already, bombed an airplane, and then threatening to kill diplomats from India. They're threatening, who knows, they'll probably take over a Canadian province like Saskatchewan or something. You got cabinet ministers and MPs in Parliament who can't even speak English, and they're giving speeches in Parliament talking about Indian history. You got the schools still full of the woke LGBTQ, DEI, CRT, all that crap, still going strong. You got China basically cozying up to our traitor leaders. You got transnational gangs transporting drugs, extortion rackets. You got whole provinces taken over by Indian invaders, helped by our traitor leaders. But we got to criticize Second Sons. Like, really? That's your priority? You know? Literally, the country's on the brink of extinction as we know it. But you got to criticize Second Sons. It's weak. It's pathetic. So pathetic. But I'm glad they get triggered by it. But it really shows who's for Canada, who isn't. Because they're not for Canada. They're usually for themselves. They want to fill the country up. They don't care if it happens. All right. Next, I saw this tweet by Elon, and I thought it was appropriate for this conversation. It says, falsely labeling non-violent people as fascists or Nazis should be treated as an incitement to murder. Do you know how many times they call Jeremy McKenzie and whoever fascists and Nazis? They call Second Sons Nazis all the time. So basically, that's why they wear the mask, because you're basically inciting people to murder them. And Antifa in Canada gets away with whatever they want. I don't know if they're as crazy as their U.S. counterparts, but I wouldn't doubt it. Like, if they would murder, I don't know, probably. So, but I thought that was an interesting post by Elon, because the same thing's going down in the States, the same thing that going on down there with Antifa calling everybody Nazis. Now we got our supposedly people on the pro-Canada, like say Canada First side, fake people, calling us Nazis, calling us woke right, whatever. Once they say woke right, like Cat Canada says that a lot too. Once they say woke right, just dismiss them, because they're basically Zio shills. They want to basically, weed out their competition. Anybody that's not kissing the wall is not allowed to speak. That's who they work. That's how they work. All right, let's see. So also, we got another thing too I saw today. It's kind of going viral, this video of this guy in Australia. He caught some Indian dude trying to take a shit, like right in the middle of on a road, tree-lined road with houses. He just decided to stop. He said, "This is a good spot." So that video is kind of going viral. I'm sure we'll see that on our timeline travels here. So the next post, Third World Toronto. So it's all connected here. It's all connected. This is why guys joining Second Sons, or if they haven't joined Second Sons, they agree with a lot of what they're saying, is because literally the whole country had the floodgates open. And the government, they don't even know how bad it is. They don't. And they're happy. The worse the better for them, I guess. So Third World Toronto. This just happened today. Female TTC employee was violently attacked and stabbed multiple times today around 1 p.m. at Dundas Station. That's a busy station. It's a fairly busy station. Mayor Olivia Chow has ignored residents' complaints for years about the violent, mentally ill people causing chaos on the transit system. Yeah, it's like, why would you want to ride into TTC? Especially with your kids or your wife. It's insane. I wonder, they caught the guy. We'll have to find out who it is. But that's just like, it's starting to becoming a routine thing on the TTC. People getting stabbed or sexually assaulted. I mean, come on. You got to crack some skulls a little, crack down a little on this. It's not acceptable. We'll see. We'll see who the suspect is. I haven't seen his face yet. Anyway, we'll look into that maybe for tomorrow. Okay, next, Durham Regional Police. This is a recurring theme I talk about is the Youth Criminal Justice Act. In the GTA and abroad, beyond the GTA, you're seeing more and more of these young offenders doing violent crimes. Now, we're not talking stealing comic books here. They're doing like carjackings, home invasions, murder, stabbings, and the Youth Criminal Justice Act just coddles them. Don't ruin their lives and their future. So what's this? 5 male youth have been taken into custody after attempting to rob a cell phone store in Ajax. So yeah, you've got problems in Canada when we got feral youth gangs taking out businesses. I don't remember this happening when I was growing up. When I was growing up, they had the Young Offenders Act. It was like for kids who did something stupid, they shouldn't be punished for the rest of their lives. Because, we all totally do some stupid things. But this is a whole different animal. Like, these guys are doing hardened criminal stuff. Like that kid, that 14-year-old, other few teenagers that stabbed the one grandma who's gardening and one grandma who was in the shopping, the grocery store parking lot. It's crazy. And this youth criminal justice, they get a free pass, man. Like, what, they do no more than 3 or 4 years, expunged record, and they know it. They know the law. The crime gangs know the law. That's why they use the underage criminals. So Pierre should talk about that. But then he'll be accused of American style, because in the U.S. they treat their kids, if they do a murder or something severe, they treat them like adults. So 5 youth arrested after attempted robbery. And I see every day now serious violent crimes by under 18, by minors. But then, never hear about it again. Because we got to protect the children. No. I'm not saying we need to, I know. I'm saying it's being exploited. This basically immunity for kids to commit violent crimes. It's being exploited big time. So we'll keep an eye. We'll see how many more of these happen. I think they're only going to go up. Well, here's another one. Durham Regional Police. Youth on release order arrested for Oshawa stabbing. So this kid who's on bail, out on bail already, was arrested again for stabbing somebody. So if he was in jail, he wouldn't have stabbed somebody. Yeah. So I think they're talking a lot about bail. Doug Ford was just talking about it. To keep people off the street. I don't think they'll do anything about it. I think it's all bullshit. But they got to start talking about the youth justice. But they won't talk about it. Because they're cowards. I would talk about it if I was in charge. Oh my God. It needs total revamping. So, we always look at this. I always try to keep an eye out for those youth. Because they're increasing. And the severity of it is increasing. Murders, I'm talking about. We're not talking about stealing chips and comic books, All right, next post here. Yeah, look at this. Clyde do nothing, and Wyatt and all them are worried about second sons. And meanwhile, Canada's basically, the parliament's basically Indian. You got this Suk Dhaliwal talking. He's not talking about a Canadian issue. He's talking about India, whatever the hell happened in India 200 years ago. Then you got half the caucus behind him is from India. And yeah, let's worry about second sons. So let's see what he's talking about here, this guy. Look at this. This is an MP for Canada. This is embarrassing.
Mr. Speaker, today marks the 350th anniversary of the martyrdom of 9th Sikh Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji.
Yeah.
A towering figure.
How's this
not only
related to
in the
Canada?
Sikh history, but in the history of humanity. His supreme sacrifice to defend freedom of conscience and to protect the rights of those persecuted is a timeless lesson in moral courage.
So yeah, let's worry about second sons and their masks when this is going on. The parliament's basically Indian already. 40% of the women given birth are foreign born and going up. And every day, women are flying in, giving birth to instant Canadians. The government just passed the birth citizenship law that gives kids born abroad Canadian citizenship. So all this stuff basically destroying Canada, literally. But let's worry about the second sons. You know, this is why they piss me off.
Long before the world spoke of the universal human rights, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji stood firmly for equality, justice, and interfaith solidarity. His legacy is a reminder that the strength of Canada is rooted
Spirit of
in
Canada.
these very values. Today we honor his memory and we reaffirm our commitment to safeguarding human rights and religious freedom for all.
Yeah, whatever. He can't even speak English, and he can't even speak English, and he's talking about something about Indian culture, or politics, or history. It's like it's the Canadian House of Parliament, and they don't even talk about issues that are affecting Canadians half the time. It's disgraceful. Okay, here's Jason Levine. I thought this was a good post. Jason Levine giving his opinion on the second sons. So, Canada, this is a demonstration of freedom of expression. You don't have to like it. That's kind of the point. The right to freedom of expression exists to protect unpopular expressions, as popular ones don't need protection. The facts here are that a majority of Canadians do support mass deportation, with 65% agreeing that there are too many immigrants in Canada. So the mainstream media and advocates of hate are twisting the narrative to demonize the will of the majority and to attack Canada's freedom of expression. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. So, wiretap me. Anti-hate co-conspirator spreads anti-white racist conspiracy theory. Canada's special representative on combating Islamophobia, I saw this to Amira El-Gawabi, fabricates a court ruling that doesn't exist. Okay, I don't want to read all that. Anyway, we'll talk about her. She posted this in response to the second sons. So this is who we have to fight. This is who we have to go against. But then we have to worry about guys like you don't have to worry about them, but you have to listen to guys like Zachary Tisdale and Clyde and bitch about, like Jason Levine said, free expression. So what'd she say? Extremely troubling demonstration in London, Ontario. The city is also where a Canadian Muslim family was deliberately targeted and killed in an act deemed by a court as terrorism motivated by white nationalism. Right, okay. So they're going to connect that. She gets paid by the taxpayer, like she's federally funded, and she shuts her comments off because she's too much of a coward. We don't need her telling us what we can and cannot do in Canada. Okay. But basically, they had nothing to do with what happened to that Muslim family. You know, they haven't done anything. Not like Antifa, not like those crazy lunatics, not like the Palestinians, not even like the Palestinian people. They get away with murder downtown Toronto and Montreal. But these guys, they hang a banner on a bridge and they're Nazis. All right, here's Alex Cargo from PPC chiming in. You can call them feds, but I don't see what's wrong with this message. I talked to easily over 1,000 people in my riding, and the one thing 95% agreed on was immigration is insane. I'd rather side feds whose trap is sound remigration policy than beta soys wearing their grandma's sweaters who think woke right is a real thing. That's Wyatt Claypool, Grandma Claypool. So basically saying the same thing, kind of similar to what I'm saying, is like, what's the problem? Why are you guys freaking out over the second sons like little girly men? Because that's how you sound. You sound like little pussies, little girly men who want to control, to gatekeep the conversation. You know, maybe we need a little militancy, you know. The government doesn't listen. They're corrupt, all the parties. Even in Ontario, Doug Ford is no better than the Liberals or the NDP. So why don't we need, you know, we could use these guys to rock the boat a bit. Rock the boat. And I think they're getting more results than all these fake conservatives. You know, why do you think Pierre's talking about immigration now? It's because of these guys, stuff like this. Why do you think even the Liberals are pretending to cut immigration? At least they're getting results. But you criticize them because you're whatever the hell you are, beta soy pussies. I don't like to insult people, but I can't really think of anything. Okay, I saw this video today. It's interesting. This guy's very anti-Indian. He gets targeted by Indians all the time. It's kind of funny. But he's talking about Izzat and how scamming is allowed in Indian culture. So this Izzat was on Reddit. They were talking about Izzat as like a cultural or their code of honor or whatever in Indian, you know, kind of like code of ethics like we go. But apparently it's all messed up. And scamming is like rewarded in Indian culture or whatever. But I thought it was interesting because that's what we're importing here. Let's see what he says here. Sorry.
Let's talk.
All right. Something's wrong with my screen.
Izzat is the Indian subcontinent idea of honor. What makes Izzat so interesting is that Izzat doesn't really care about morality. What matters most is winning, not by how something is won. This tweet isn't going around kind of breaking it down, and I'll expand on it further for you. Let's say someone in India complains about a broken water pipe. Instead of the problem being addressed, the official responsible for the water pipe denies it's a problem and counterattacks him instead, because daring to question his efficacy in his role was challenging his izzat, his honor. So the official tries to destroy the person who brought up the problem, and the water pipe never gets fixed. A great example is this. In the eyes of the izzat system, being a doctor or a pilot, that's as good as being qualified to be a doctor or a pilot. This is why you see a lot of like degree scamming or qualification scamming that doesn't really get addressed. The way by which they get there is not valued. What is valued is them getting there. This is also why they were so upset over the Tyler Oliveira video, because it challenged the izzat of
It was a good video.
India's sort of
I like
public
that.
relation. Let's talk about izzat.
All right, so that's kind of just a little idea of how there's the kind of the mindset, which is kind of good to know because we're surrounded by Indians. It's kind of a different culture. This is say the cultural differences are there. Cultural differences, and I say that sincerely. That it's they keep bringing up this race thing. Okay, the race is the most obvious thing because that's what you see, but it's really the culture. The culture thing is so out of whack, man. Very out of whack, and as you'll soon see. All right. All right. This is the viral video today. So basically, it's in Australia, and some guy is driving by, and he sees a guy taking a shit, trying to take a shit, I guess, on a tree-lined, nice neighborhood road. So he decides to get out and confront him. So let's watch it.
What are you doing?
Okay, so.
Brother! Brother, what are you doing, cuz? Cuz, what are you doing? Sorry? What are you doing?
Just sitting out here.
What are you
enjoying
doing,
the fresh
guys?
air.
What are you fucking doing? This is Australia.
I know.
Don't fucking shit on the ground, you fucking pig.
I'm just being
Go! Get out of
I'm
here!
just peeing.
right.
What do you mean, right? Huh, you fucking sicko? Fucking peeing on the ground, what is wrong with you? Huh, you're squatting.
Being.
That's not how you pee, you fucking weirdo. You pee with your dick.
So apparently there's another video. There's another video of him, like a longer video, and he gets, see this red car here? That red car?
Brother! Brother, what are you doing, cuz?
And I'll find the video. I'll try and find the video, but that's his car. So he's not just walking, a homeless dude walking around and he needs, or a crackhead like we have in Sarnia. No, he was actually driving, and he said, I need to take a shit. I better stop over by that tree where there's a lot of shade. And see, there's houses back there. There's houses right there. So imagine if a kid or a woman's walking by and this guy's got his pants down and taking a big dump. And it's like, what the hell is that all about? And I know they'll say, oh, that's just one guy and maybe he had to go. I don't think so. I think it's a wider spread thing, and I think we'll see more of it the more the numbers increase. But Australia's got the same thing going on with Canada. That's Canada. It's like literally getting taken over. It's weird. There's it's almost identical in Australia. And they have a similar group to Second Sons. But that's another thing. Let's worry about Second Sons instead of this. Look at the guy's like, what's the problem?
Go!
I'm just taking
Get
it.
out of
I'm
here.
just peeing with my pants down in front of a
You mean
bunch
right?
of neighbors.
Huh, you fucking sicko? Fucking peeing on the ground, what is wrong with you? Huh, you're squatting.
That's his car
That's
though.
not how you
He
pee, you
literally
fucking
pulled
weirdo.
over and said, I'm gonna
You pee
take
with
a
your
dump.
dick. Brother! Brother, what are you doing, cuz?
And if you're in that situation, maybe stop at a Tim Hortons or McDonald's, buy a coffee and use the washroom. I'd rather not. I'd rather go home. But whatever. Anywhere's better than this. Come on, man. So, not only we got the scamming, we got the extortion, the truck drive, the dangerous truck driving, the drug smuggling, the sexual assaults. We got this too, the toilet issue. All right. Next. Third world scammers. This Canadian immigrant says he was traumatized by 5 years of separation from his family. He has launched a lawsuit against the government. Yes. That'll win you some goodwill with Canadians. I don't even know if I can read this article. I don't even know if I want to read it. Canadian immigrant. Okay. I don't want to. Let's see. Where's this gentleman from? Thomas, whatever, I can't say his name. Where'd he come from? South Africa. It's a majority black country, South Africa. If anything, the white South Africans should be getting out of there. So he lived alone in exile in Canada with his family in South Africa. Burundian human rights activists had fled without his family because they did not have passports or a Canadian visa. Even after he was granted protection in Canada, Ottawa would not issue his dependents a travel document until their permanent residence application was approved. The family finally reunited here in 2023, but the prolonged separation has left emotional stress on whatever the fuck his name is, and his 3 sons and daughter who felt distance. Whatever, man. This is Canada. This is and they're worried about second sons. These dummies are worried about second sons, and you got this happening in Canada. Literally. At least, okay, they're hurt, said 53-year-old man who faced persecution because of his work on research and advocacy on LGBTQ issues in Africa. Surprise. He's now a union employee in Ottawa. Some hurts can't heal. Well, you know what? Too bad, buddy. See, they think it's their right. Like, they earn that right to get whatever they want out of Canada, and if they don't get it, they're going to sue. He said at least he could do now is to speak for other protected persons still suffering from prolonged separations from the families they left behind. So basically, he wants to set a precedent for other families to sue the government. So how about we just stop the refugee program altogether then, if that's the way it's going to be? Fuck. Ungrateful bastards. We should deport this guy. Buddy Ned, I can't even say his name. 2 of his children are the lead plaintiffs in a proposed class action against the Canadian government. Anyway. All right. As of August, says the statement of claims, the permanent residence application processing for overseas dependents of a protected person took 50 months. That's on top of time for... So basically they're complaining it takes too long. Oh, man. And you know what? This lawsuit still has to be certified. It's still... So it hasn't been approved yet. But with our crazy judges, I can see them letting this shit go through. And then you'll have, like, all sorts of legal exposure. And the government will be paying millions to if they take too long for refugees. It's horrible. And let's worry about second sons. Let's worry about second sons while these guys bleed the country dry with this bullshit. That's why I get annoyed with Clyde do nothing in gay pool. Okay. I like this. This is a Sky News in Australia is talking about the guy shitting in the neighborhood. They said a man has dramatically they blurred his face too. A man has been dramatically confronted in suburban Adelaide after allegedly committing a disgusting act on a roadside lawn in broad daylight. It made the mainstream news. Let's see what they say. Shocking footage shared online has appeared to show a man being caught defecating in public on a suburban Adelaide street. The video that has circulated on social media captured the moment a man rushed over to confront another man squatting on the roadside. Brother, what are you doing? Cuz. Okay. So they're just... No. Okay, so they describe what happened in the video. A man who lived in Adelaide shared the disturbing clip on Facebook on Tuesday, saying the incident had occurred in the suburb of Para Hills. All right. It's gone viral, I thought. The post had been shared over 700 times and received close to 500 comments as of Wednesday afternoon. Okay, good work. Pulling him up, lad. Far out. The country really has gone down the toilet, another person said. Another video of the confrontation that had been filmed from a different angle was later posted to Facebook. In this clip, the man who had allegedly been defecating could be heard being called a fucking scumbag and told to leave the area. The South Adelaide police spokesman confirmed to Sky News that no reports had been made to police regarding the alleged defecating. It is an offense to urinate or defecate in public places that are not specifically made for the purpose under the South. Okay, so you think? So it's funny how the mainstream press, it's kind of good that they didn't call the guy racist. You know, they wrote the story straight. They didn't have a bent saying, "Oh, this guy is racist. Look how he treated this poor Indian." A lot of the liberals will say, "Oh, he must have had some medical problem." Yeah, it's called aversion to the toilet problem or something. Toiletitis. Toilet gonorrhea. Okay, next post. Okay. It's apparently racist to not want these disgusting retards in our country. Yeah. That's what they'll say. Like, they probably wanted to say it, but they were like, "Oh man, the video's so bad, we can't even try and defend it." The liberals would usually come to remember the old guy was shitting at the gas station by the Tim Hortons in Canada? They were like, "Oh, he's an old man. This guy's," I don't think they can defend this. Here's Clown Done Under. Let's cut the crap, Adelaide. It's fast becoming an utter shithole. Adelaide is fast becoming an utter shithole, and everyone knows it. Is this the new standard for modern Australia? Okay. Look at this. This is what? What's the problem? What is the problem here? I have shade. I have tree. I have my flip-flops. Why are you... And that's his car. He could have shit in his car. Okay. Next. Here's my take on these Second Sons and these critics of Second Sons. Fake conservative soy boys gnash their teeth and lose their minds when the Second Sons do a rally, but are hardly bothered by the invasion of millions of Indians, which has become an existential threat to Canada. Like, I'm not joking. And a lot of people aren't joking. We have eyes. We see every day. It could be over. It could be too late. But it's existential. Look at this. Like, this is Calistani vote. They had a referendum vote in Ottawa. 50,000 people. Do these look like Canadians? Do these look like a net positive for Canada or a threat to Canada? Let's see what this guy's saying. This is what's this is what's happening in Canada. But let's worry about Second Sons. Yeah. This is Canada, not India. Okay, you get the point. But yeah, let's worry about Second Sons. Meanwhile, literally the whole country's taken over. Could be too late too, but at least they're trying. At least they're getting off their asses and trying. Alright, next post. There's this guy again. They'll need to hire bylaw officers to give tickets to street shitters. Okay, this is the different angle. This is the where he gets in the car. Okay. So it's his buddy in the car, probably. He wanted to hit him, it looks like. Oh. So yeah, he drove there. He's just like, I'm gonna pull over and take a shit. Good for him. Good for that guy. Good for him. But he literally drove, pulled over and said, I'm going to go take a shit under this tree. Okay. Here's Matt Walsh. I don't agree with everything he says, but I like what he said here. Listen.
People are the way they are. Okay, at the end
This
of the
kind
day,
of
your country.
applies to a lot
This is
of
why we
going
say
on.
import the third world, become the third world. Because the thing that
Going
nobody
on in
wants to
Canada.
say is that the reason why third world countries are the way they are is because third world people are the way they are. Okay, at the end of the day, your country is a reflection of its people. Every country is, when it comes down to it. Somali is totally dysfunctional and corrupt because scam and frauds, piracy, this is part of the lifestyle, part of the culture. Bring it over here, you get the same stuff. This is why we say import the third world, become.
I know he's talking about the States, but it really applies more to Canada because we've imported the third world. It's only going to get worse. But heaven forbid we got the second sons putting a banner up on with the masks on. Oh my gosh. So, it's crazy. But, they've been exposed. Anybody who says woke right, right away they're not working for Canada's best interest. At all. Okay. This is funny. Ontario exploring partnerships with Indian companies driving innovation in the advanced manufacturing, aerospace, life sciences, defense, and technology sector. Yeah, I don't know, Ontario Finance. I don't know. Some Ontario ministers in India doing this tour of saying how great we want to increase business in India and bring more Indians to Canada. This is funny. This is from an Indian jet fighter at an air show. Totally destroying the Indian jet. This is what we want to bring to Ontario. It's kind of appropriate. Whoa, poor guy. So that's funny. We're gonna do partnerships with Indian companies. We're practically India though. Like I said, we got all these Indians, the companies, employees, politicians. That's all they talk about in Parliament now is India this and India that. It's disgraceful, really, that Canadians have allowed this to happen, and when other Canadians say something, they're called Nazis or racist or far-right nationalists, whatever, white supremacists. You're not allowed to complain about the obvious destruction. Victor Fideli, that's who it is. Ontario has touchdown in India. Our mission will bring us to New Delhi. Okay. We're here to expand collaboration that delivers new investments and build a stronger, more resilient Ontario economy. Yeah, whatever, man. Let's go to India and bring more Indians here. All right. Here's Third World Ontario. This is like Trailer Park Boys stuff. At least 4 banks in Ontario have been destroyed by a stolen excavator in the past 6 months. This never used to be a problem. I wonder what has changed. Yes. Third World Ontario. Let's go bring more business from India. All right. Bruce. A year ago, I predicted banner drops like this would happen more often. Much more is coming, and it's glorious. Yes, the banner drops were from the Freedom Convoy. So it's kind of a throwback to that, but they're very effective because a lot of people drive under them, and it's really getting your message straight to the people. But I remember these ones in London, and people were like, "Oh my gosh!" In Hamilton too. Whatever, freedom of expression, man. They're not doing anything wrong. Not doing anything wrong. Selling out the country, being traitors to the country is way worse than what these guys are doing. They're holding the banner. Ooh. Okay. Here's another thing. Toronto real estate. This is another thing screwed by our Indian invasion. Is the real estate market. Let's see what's this. Toronto real estate is propped up by Indian biopressure. Toronto is Canada's financial center. Canadian financial institutions employ a very large number of Indians. What else do we know about Indians? They are shameless scammers. It follows that there's likely a god-awful amount of fraud in the Canadian real estate market, aided and abetted by Canadian banks. Yeah. Do you know how many Indians, like students here on student visas, like had properties? Like, there's some mortgage fraud going on there. Driving up house prices for all of us. When the bubble pops, the fraud will be revealed and it will all crash very quickly and very messily. Canadian government almost certainly knows this and almost certainly plans to stick white Canadians with the bill. Not a prediction, just a hunch. Yeah, like, definitely the housing market is looking pretty soft in Toronto. So we'll see how bad it crashes. They've been saying this bubble's popping anytime, so it looks like it's I think it'll happen, but it'll start in Brampton and work its way out. There's another trader. See, we're talking about traders here. Chrystia Freeland, she's just globetrotting. She's traveling the world. She's gonna take a cushy job in London, and she's the Ukraine something, or our Ukraine representative. I don't know what the hell. She's supposedly gonna resign her seat in Parliament in the next little bit. But look at her in Kiev, what she's saying. Grateful to be in Kiev at a critical moment. Thank you to Olena, who took such good care of all our passengers on the nature. All of her passengers. Yeah, she looks pretty happy, this one. And I said she should go stay in Ukraine, traitor. Yes. Like, this is another thing. She cares more about Ukraine and her globalist buddies than she does about Canada. She helped destroy Canada. So she could stay in Ukraine. Look at her. Oh. And there's Elmira Elga. She's talking about the London. We were talking about her before. And she gets paid by the taxpayers. What is she? Canada's special representative on combating Islamophobia. All right. So she's criticizing these guys, calling them Nazis, basically. Right? And she shut off her comments, so you can't even comment. But she's getting money from the taxpayers. So, that's it. Yeah. It's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff. But that's the state of Canada. You got the crazy globalist and the woke liberal side that's doing their best to destroy Canada at every turn, whether it's in the schools or the borders. And then you got these fake conservatives like Pierre, and then you got these influencers, conservatives that basically don't mind if Canada is totally invaded as long as they're not Muslims, because their Israeli masters won't like that. They just want millions of Indians, and that's how they think. They're fake conservatives. Look at what Pierre hasn't, like, the Conservative Party for the last 10 years. So that's why you get groups like Second Sons and other people voicing dismay with our politics and our political system, because it's on the path of destruction. Where we go from here, we'll find out. So I'm sure we'll see more stuff tomorrow. So that's the next broadcast will be tomorrow, November 27th. We'll see. Tomorrow's supposed to be the deadline for Trump to get his peace deal. So that should be very exciting. And we'll see what else comes up on the X feed tomorrow. So until then, Everybody have a nice night. And we'll see you tomorrow.